Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari and today I have with me Cyril. Good morning, Cyril.
Good morning.
Okay, on Monday, the governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, Akeredolu, SAN, he, did the latest in his series of briefing of the people of the state in, about COVID-19. And there he sort of gave a breakdown and analysis of how an unusually high number for Ondo State had come to be recorded. And it was his emphasis in the broadcast was that it was all about people not being able to obey the rules. In the case of a male, it was, a male officer of the police force that didn't obey the rules. And there was also a lady, again, it's all a matter of not being able to obey the rules for whatever reason. And so the governor he made a passionate plea in that particular broadcast that we just have to do everything we can to help each other. Help yourselves and then help each other, help your family. We'll get into the details because we shall be speaking with Akeredolu SAN later on Skype. But before then, our reporter Morakinyo has a report. Let's take that first.
This briefing is coming a day after Governor Rotimi Akeredolu announced 3 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. The briefing gave the governor opportunity to address key issues suspected to be responsible for rising cases of the virus in the state. He laments the porous nature of the state borders, with particular reference to the 4th and 5th cases who are policemen. The governor said heads of security agencies must brace up.
It is clear to us that our borders are still porous and heavily compromised. 2, our security agents who are to enforce government restriction order are themselves accomplices who abuse the trust placed in them at this critical time. I'm making reference to those 2 policemen who came in from Lagos. Service chiefs of Nigeria Armed Forces, as well as the authorities of other security agencies, to streamline and monitor the movement and operation of men and officers at this time.
State Commissioner of Police Ondi Adi, who spoke on behalf of other security agencies, gave reasons why some people still gain entry to the state through the borders.
While we are going on, we discovered that there are some track roads that desperate Nigerians who want to move interstate still try to move across.
State Commissioner for Health also shed more light on the whereabouts of one of the suspects who allegedly killed Olufunke Olakuri, daughter of Alfenfere leader Ruben Fashoroti.
It's still in the prison because we have made an arrangement with the prison authorities to keep him in a single room there, and people will come around to take care of him.
So it's not at the isolation center?
No, it's not.
The governor also advised the people to stay at home and obey precautionary measures aimed at preventing the spread of the disease in the state. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
Thank you very much. That report, as you're used to by now, went out earlier. And it's a presage to our speaking with the Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu SAN, very, very shortly. So there you have it. We've heard from a police. We'll be hearing from another police officer, a spokesman. We'll be hearing later on from T. Leo Ikoro on Skype as well, spokesperson, that is, of the Ondo State Police Command. But the governor, in his speech, while thanking security personnel for the great work that they're doing, and he was careful to do that. He said that they're doing a great job, but there are unfortunate lapses, and these lapses need to be plugged. People you repose trust in, who are you going to repose more trust in than security people? A policeman, a soldier, whatever. These are the people that rogue elements among them will let us down. And the governor his whole speech was one to explain, and we shall be talking with him, to explain the sudden spike and also register his displeasure that people to whom much is given in terms of, the discipline you expect, much is expected.
No, a police officer in these times wouldn't just be someone who is literate and educated, as it were. He should be one who is also part of the enforcement of lockdown. He should be one who is also part of the process in dealing with COVID-19. And so he should have a level of enlightenment that should be higher than those of normal citizens.
Indeed. In fact, we'll let the governor say it himself, because it was a most unfortunate situation, the way the governor narrated the story in his briefing. So
I was saying that, so police officers are people that you expect a little more from than you'd expect from normal citizens.
Indeed.
That's one. We found the case in Ekiti where a pregnant health worker,
yes.
left Lagos
That's
and ran to
Ekiti.
Ekiti. So we're finding a pattern. We're beginning to see a pattern where spike in certain states is directly related to migration patterns, which the interstate lockdown now should begin to take care of. But you had the police commissioner in Ondo to also point to the fact that it is not just a matter of highways. There are tracks, bush paths that people are also using to, move from one place to another.
Yes.
And policing such areas may be difficult. The governor, however, I said earlier that, look, some policemen, it's not just a matter of tracks and bush paths. People who should be guarding our gates are compromising and becoming accomplices in this act.
So, and then people don't even understand it. In the case of the women, when the woman, I beg your pardon, that was also in the report that the governor gave, her family, her people were actually shielding her. They didn't. It goes back to a story we've also had about this, which is that of stigmatization. They didn't want to allow access to her. But all of that is now sorted. But I think enlightenment is still key in all of this. People just need to be enlightened.
And then we must take a step backwards. In the case of the policeman who went to Ondo State,
sure,
he was in Lagos here. He had developed symptoms, gone for testing. His results were not out yet. Then he traveled to Ondo State. The fact is that a police officer can move without the sort of hindrance that ordinary citizens would face. And so we must begin to plug these loopholes. What is the level of awareness and conscientization that we have at the moment? And what is the level of enlightenment that when people who should be at the forefront of the battle
among the more knowledgeable among us
are now the ones who are behaving in the exact opposite way, the sort of behavior that they should be combating?
Well,
there's a bigger problem. We saw the case in Abuja on the day the former chief of staff was buried. Somebody walked down to the road, took off his hazmat suits, and just wanted to and was driving away.
Exactly.
So I think that the mind of our people, whether they're on the front line or on the back line, must begin to be investigated very thoroughly.
Yes, and as I said, we already have the governor, so the governor will be speaking with us. We want us to be careful not to tar the entire force with this particular brush. As a rogue element, I cannot but imagine that there must be a lot of knowledgeable officers that would never do what he did. But the fact that he has done it, it's no less disappointing, and it really speaks to what the point you are making.
But again, we need to raise a clarion call on Gary, because the fact is that if people are leaving Lagos and going as far as Sokoto, some to Taraba, some to Nasarawa, some to Plateau, as far as Plateau, and then some
you're talking about
from
people, citizens generally, yes.
So it certainly means that there is need for us to reappraise how the lockdown is being enforced. It is only very normal for us to to think of that, because now it's like a travel pandemic, a travel epidemic. There's an outbreak of travels which must be dealt with. Yeah. Whether they are going through bush paths, whether they are going through highways, you can't travel from Lagos to Ondo by bush paths.
Because we heard when Governor Akeredolu addressed in Government House, when he addressed the people
Monday, yes.
on Monday, he made the point that the primary case that has led to all of this was absolutely unnecessary if people had just paid attention to the guidelines and had conformed with their behavior. Let's try the governor again. Hello, Mr. Governor. Mr. Governor. Aha. Hello, Mr. Governor. Oh, dear.
Yori?
Can you hear me now?
Right. I'm with you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. There's a bit of a time lag.
Yes, sorry, I'm with you.
You can hear me too.
I am hearing you.
Lovely. Thank you very much for joining us.
Right.
On Monday, you addressed citizens of your state in Government House, and you explained why they
My great pleasure.
were delighted to have you. On Monday, you explained to the citizens of Ondo why, how your state has ended up with this spike. Could you go over the broad outlines of it, please? Okay,
Okay.
Mr.
Thank you. Clearly, I mean, our index case, as you all know, I was a military officer who returned from India. If his family are normally resident in Akure in their military barracks, so there was no other place he would go anyway. He returned, and when he got into Ondo State, he self-isolated. And at the end of the day, when the samples were taken, it tested positive. So that was the index case that we had. So with that, one can understand. But at the end of the day, we had to line trace all those who had contact with him, both primary, secondary, and tertiary contact with him. At the end of the day, only the medical doctor in the military facility who treated him now got the virus. So he also was now taken to the IDH. I can say that luckily the two of them have now turned, after other tests, they are now negative and have now been asked to go back home. Now, the ones that are disturbing have to do with police officers, two of them, who said they were tested in Lagos. But instead of staying back in Lagos to await the result of their test, they drove back and came into Akure to see their family. And while they were here, maybe I think they got here on a Wednesday, the Thursday morning, they got their result. And two of them tested positive. Now, they left for Lagos. And when they got back to Lagos, the information we have from them is that they told them and got in touch with the team in Lagos to come and pick them. And they went, they said when they waited 1-2 days and they never came, they got back to Ondo State and now told us. Our IDH hospital. When they so
Mr. Governor, I'm going to have to interrupt. The audio has dropped out. The sound has dropped out. I'm gonna have to come away, and then we'll reconnect with you to see if it's better. We certainly will stay with you, but the audio, the sound that is, has dropped out. But before it did, we were having excellent sound from you. So we're just for you to know, we're cutting away from you, and I noted where you got to, and I'll jog you to resume from that point, please, if you will. So interesting, Cyril. I don't know whether to call them rogue police officers, because when you do a thing that is totally out of character, totally out of your training, totally out of expectation, totally against all of the rules, maybe that's why the word rogue officer comes to mind. Nothing to do with him being a highway robber or anything like that. Because the governor explained how the military officer that had just come back from, some course somewhere, that was handled properly. But now we have a couple of policemen. We made the point, and I also, sort of a spoiler alert. The governor, in his address on Monday, had said that, look, the security guys are doing a great job, and he was at pains to emphasize and indeed appreciate them for that. But that wouldn't take from his needing to, explain that we were all disappointed. They, particularly in Ondo, and the rest of us were disappointed by the behavior which has led to an unnecessary situation. Had those errant police officers not behaved in the way that they chose to, the numbers in Ondo would probably have been different, which was one of the pains of the governor.
It is called discretion. It is called discretion. The example of the army officer that came back from India is excellent. He came back, he knew that he needed to isolate himself for a number of days, yes, which he did.
And, so that was as expected. Okay, welcome back, and we had Governor Akeredolu on the line, and the audio, momentarily dropped out, but I'm happy to say the audio is now just the way it should be. Thank you very much, Mr. Governor, for staying with us.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, you were giving us a story. You were narrating a sequence of events, and you got to the two policemen coming back to Ondo State, having gone to Lagos. Could you pick it up from there, please?
All right. Thank you. So what I believe happened was that from their own the evidence they gave was that when they got to Lagos, they requested to be picked up, and apparently the Lagos was have so many traffic, place was overwhelmed.
To be picked up by NCDC.
They waited, and nobody came.
Picked up by NCDC.
So
they requested to be picked up by NCDC.
Yes, we picked up by Lagos facility. I mean, they tested them, and they're supposed to pick them up.
Okay.
To any of the facilities in Lagos.
Okay.
I want to believe that probably a lot of traffic. So what happened was that they now resorted to returning back to Akure, and gave themselves up, and we admitted them in our IDH. But what I believe was that, look, they shouldn't have left Lagos in the first instance to come here to hear of their result a day after they got here. It's totally wrong, and I believe that the Police Service Commission or the Commissioner of Police, which I told him, maybe in Lagos or any other place, they should be faced with guard room treatment here.
Governor, when they came back to Ondo, did they alert the health authorities there of their situation? Were health authorities fully aware that they indeed...
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
When they came back, they alerted us that they are tested positive, and they gave the story, the sequence of events that I gave now was given to them. And that was why we immediately admitted them into our facility. And went ahead, we asked them, normally you take their statements to know those they have been in contact with, and they will trace most of them that they have been in contact with. This will be the first one. The gentleman, Bisong, I think it's a deputy commissioner also, that died in Benin. Also, because most of them probably had worked there before, like Bisong, the late Bisong had his family here. He came back here and now had to go back before the unfortunate incident of his death out from this COVID-19. So we had to go to his own family too. So we have had this problem with our security officers, and I believe that they are taking advantage of one thing. No matter how effective our security is about closing our borders or interstate traveling, which we have resolved to say we are enforcing, any policeman in uniform will pass because they will claim they are doing essential duty. That is the problem we have. So in their own case, it will be easier for them to pass. Their own is the camel that can always pass through the needle's eye because they will say it's essential duty. This is the problem we're having.
Whereas, Mr. Governor, the right procedure in the case of those two officers would have been, having determined that they were positive in Lagos, they should have stayed back in Lagos for treatment.
No, but my belief is that what they should have done was to wait for their result whilst they were in Lagos.
Okay. Okay, I get it. There was a test.
So they drove down to Ondo and got their result in Ondo.
Which happened to be positive.
And now went back. It was when they now went back that they felt that time was not on their side. I believe that they panicked and said, look, if they are not picking us, maybe in Ondo we will have better facility or better treatment, or we'll be attended to more expeditiously. So that was why they come.
Okay. What was there? This is a case that involved people, in uniform. Are there any other cases that people making unnecessary travels affecting the situation in Ondo?
Oh yes. We have one or two cases that had to do with people who were able to pass from Abuja. A lady came in from Abuja. How he got here, we don't know. But he tested positive, and we are taking care of her too. So there are one or two instances like that it is as a result of the fact that our borders are porous. And we have spoken to the Commissioner of Police. He's giving assurance. I was with usually I hold the Security Council meeting here in Ondo. When we have problems like this, we do it every day and every other day or so. But I've told them that they have to sit up, and the military must be able to assist, and with civil defense, and everybody should be there. And we are deploying even Amotekun to be there so that they will prevent all this inter-border crossing.
Governor, now that you bring up Amotekun, I would have used the opportunity, to ask how they can come into this, to help perhaps overstretched police.
Well, they will come in. What we have said is that all our borders, they will be there with their own vehicles, but I'm sure probably you had interviewed the Commissioner of Police. They discovered later that, look, all those roads that we have abandoned, old road, we call them this old road, that old road, people are diverting to that place, all those roads. The Amotekun will be more effective in, blocking vehicles that are diverting to take old roads or other paths into the state. One, I believe that this probably will end soon when we have had a federal directive on interborder crossing. So okay. Since the federal government has made it a case now that, look, everybody must say that nobody should cross. You must not leave your state. That is a clear directive of Mr. President. With that, so the IG can give direct instruction to all police formation, don't allow interstate crossing, one, and that except they are carrying essential goods or commodities like food, then nobody should come. But what has happened again is that we have to be very careful. People will load food and put human being under or in front. It's been a very serious matter, the way we are able to transport human beings with food. It's an unfortunate thing.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Governor, for joining us. Have you noticed any evidence that the police, at least in your state, have made efforts to prevent a recurrence of this particular incident?
Well, I believe that they have put up and they are ready because I received a few memo from them on what they want to do now.
Okay.
And I believe that if they put it in place, it will be more effective if they put it in place. The problem, as I said, is that there is no way they can stop a policeman from crossing.
Yeah.
It is an essential duty.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is to say that all police formation must not give passes to their men to
Hear you,
leave their
Mr. Governor.
state. It's
Hear you.
important. If you don't give passes to them to leave their state, if they leave, they know that they will be sent to the guard room for discipline. So
Okay.
all police formation, everybody, and I think road safety corps was telling us at one of our meetings that they have had directives from all from their head office that nobody must leave his own station. So if they give that directive that no policeman must leave his own station, I think that one will go down.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Governor. But I dare say you have your hands full, like most governors, concentrating on the health of your citizenry. Do you any time at all for your preparing for your re-election bid later in the year, or is that totally on the back burner for now?
No. The election is on the back burner for now. Let us concentrate on the safety of lives now, because election is only those who are alive. If we have COVID-19, yes, it goes into when our election it was fixed for, nobody will go out.
Indeed.
So our interest now is lives of our people. Election is secondary. When we get there, we'll cross the bridge, but there's no problem with that. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm only thinking now about the lives of our people. No more.
Thank you very much, Akeredolu Oluwarotimi, Akeredolu, SAN.
Thank you, Yori. I appreciate you.
All right, then. So, there you go. Good to know. More important things are what is engaging all of the governors, not most, all of the governors. And certainly in the case of Ondo, that's secondary, perhaps a distant secondary, while we just make sure of the health of the people. We'll also be hearing, the person that will be able to better answer the question that I put to Mr. Governor last, which is that what have they now done as far as Ondo State is concerned to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again? We'll be hearing about that from Mr. T. Leo Ikoro, who is a spokesperson, we understand, of the Ondo State Police Command. So, excellent points by the governor that, look, the man is in uniform. It's beyond him. Well, as he put it, they can go through the eye of any needle simply because of the amount of trust, and they move about essential duties. So it's a problem. That's why you want the highest professional standards of both police professionalism and then knowledge. Everything is about knowledge. If those guys had known, if they had been knowledgeable enough to know that what they were doing was highly dangerous, they wouldn't have done it that way.
It's one thing to acquire knowledge. It's another thing to put it into practice. I think that's where the failure came. Now, it's important. The governor has, said that the police have sent him a memo outlining what they're going to do differently too. That is one. The FRSI commander has told all its formations, all its area commands, say, whoever, none of your officers should be allowed to leave his area of operation. The police can do the same thing, but then go one step higher. The president was wise enough to have said in his last broadcast that, look, there must be a curfew running between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. We must make sure that interstate travels,
indeed,
interstate travels are checked.
Let's hear from
and brought to the barest minimum. That is one way we are going to curb the spread significantly.
Let's hear from Mr. Ikoro himself, Mr. T. Leo Ikoro, spokesperson of the Ondo State Police Command. Good morning, Mr. Ikoro.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani alongside my colleague Cyril Agbaku. You might have heard the governor in the previous conversation. Could I get your comments, please, on the behavior of men of your service and what has been done to make sure that that kind of an occurrence doesn't happen?
Thank you very much, sir. In Ondo State here, the commissioner made it compulsion that no police officer should go out except on essential duty. And when we mean essential duty, it means the one sent by the command or the commissioner himself to certain places. When that case happened and we got to know, first we were apprehensive, it was from our command, but because there was a letdown procedure that no one from here should ever travel to any place, when the commissioner had it, he immediately informed all that was supposed to be informed in the command. And we got to know that they were from Lagos State. Once we got that, we ensured that they were taken back to where they were supposed to be, quarantined. Every officer that was involved was alerted so that we could get them. And when we got them, we saw that they were right in the quarantine center of the government.
That is in Lagos State or in Ondo State?
Right here in Ondo State.
Okay, now they are receiving treatment in Ondo State. They've been isolated, quarantined.
Yes, they have.
Is there an issue with tracking those that they might have been in contact with? Did the two police officers drive themselves, or were they? You know, that's the other problem about community infection.
The medical team in Ondo State here is doing that. And for us we've sent out a kind of investigation team to go through to all the sources they've ever met so that we can have those they have contact with, primary or whatever contact they ever had with some people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that is done. So I think that the government and the police in the states are working hand in hand to ensure that whatever contact these two police officers ever had are found out and then given proper medical attention.
Okay. And in the view of the police, when all of this is over and hopefully the officers will become well again, is the police going to take a very dim view of all of this? What's going to be the attitude of the police to the behavior of these two officers?
Well, they are not from our command here, but I do know that if they were on illegal duty to Ondo State when that happened, the command would give them what is supposed to be the real punishment for that. And again, having known that they were tested, and instead of them waiting for the result to come out, they traveled out. I think that was an illegal movement. Only the police authority can talk about that and what kind of measure, what measure or punishment could be given to them. But definitely, I think they will not have a good music to dance. Mm.
Now, we're emphasizing on this not happening again, but you know, we're talking about porous borders. Is there a way in which the police can further assist with manning borders? Nobody is saying it's an easy thing to do, but have you made additional plans as a result of this?
Yes, when the commissioner of police right here in Ondo State discovered that these commuter drivers were not using the main border points, they made their own alternative way, just like the governor said. They took their own roads, and they knew every point that we have the normal border points, so they tried to avoid that. What the commissioner did was to put in more men and more vehicular patrol on all the roads so that we could not have them again. Yesterday, we had a meeting that took about 4 hours on the strategies to use in order to cut this inroad that these drivers created into Ondo State. And I think that is working right now.
Okay. I was just curious, Mr. Okoro, since I imagine the police in Ondo State, as indeed all over the country, must be on high alert now, have there been apprehensions? Have you been apprehending people as a result of your heightened state of alert? Because we find that people still want to travel. They will hide themselves under cargo of banana, cargo of vegetable, whatever it takes. People want to move about. I was just curious, have you been lucky in the Ondo State Police Command, or have you been making arrests?
Yes, we've made some arrests, but our commissioner has a way of doing his own. Instead of putting them in detention cells as we should have done, you know, this time we're talking about social distancing. So what we do is that we use persuasion to talk to them and return them back to the same border that they passed through. If there was anyone coming from Lagos, what we do is to escort that person back to Lagos so that You see the double punishment that you will have, having traveled your way into Ondo State, and then you are returned to Lagos. That's the way we look at it, because we do not intend to detain anybody in any detention facility right now.
What kind of people are these? Are these regular, ordinary people? Are they traders? Are they market women? What kind of people are you encountering?
The last one that we had were just mere passengers coming from Lagos State, and they were traveling to Ondo State. And as we got them, we returned them to Lagos State. We took them to the border and handed them over to that state to continue their journey back to Lagos.
All right, then. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Mr. T. Leo Ikoro. Thank you very much for speaking with us on This Morning on TVC.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, there you go. Don't try. Don't try on those states. I mean, not now. In fact, don't try any state, because the president's broadcast, was very clear about that. Whereas we're going to be going into some state of relaxation, that relaxation no go reach crossing borders. You can't cross borders, and the governors will work it out among themselves.
No, I mean, right now, if you even look at what the Prime Minister of Italy is saying, you can move within your region. Yes. This is something that it is the global best minimum every government is adopting. Like as the president put it, a phased and gradual easing of the lockdown. The reality is that as soon as you tinker with this lockdown, there is increasing need for individual responsibility to nip this virus in the bud, to ensure that now, if before now you are forced to stay at home, now whether you're at home or you're on the road, there is a higher responsibility for you to take personal care of how you relate with people, where you go to, and how you maintain your personal social space. It matters a lot, because people are traveling on a bus. Of course, you can't. Yeah. You couldn't claim to be achieving distancing on a bus. It is difficult. Yes. And what happens is this: there's a ripple effect. Once 1, 2, 3 buses get on the road, the next thing happens that one Iya Sikira, Iya Jide will bring Google and on the road and begin to sell. And so we are back to where we were before. You can't trace people who travel past the place and drop the virus.
Let's take Mazi Okoroa for. Good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Suri.
Good morning to you, sir.
Honestly, gentlemen, our borders are too porous. Too porous. Even a newborn baby can be smuggled into any state, from one state. Because of the porosity in our border, it's very, very terrible. Now you ask yourself, why must these two men move from Lagos to Ondo State? Can't they do money transfer if they want to send money to their sibling or to their blessings? These are the reasons. Now, I will also suggest to all the governors, each state, they should make use of the vigilantes, should join the security men at the borders. And the vigilantes should be given a 247 GSM, that any strategy they should phone directly to the governor. It will help us, because you see all these index cases we are giving is because of this porosity in their borders. Because if all these were in their own place where they were, we will not get all these numbers to get into 100 or something. Yeah. Now look at what it was, over 3 million pieces. It's a terrible system. That is why it's terrible. The Holocaust that happened 75 years ago, where over 1 million people died within 6 months, how many people? 6 million. Now, it will not happen this way. But the best thing we should do that is, I think you have what the governor said, and the same thing was what the governor of Cross River said a month ago. That for you to, from Cameroon to Cross River, they have over 50-something porous routes into Nigeria. That up to today, there is no, they said the government is using some of his vigilantes to man those to tell me, how much will it cost them now for the government to take all these our soldiers and the personnel push it? That was why when people raised the issue of Motoke and the vigilante, people were kicking against it. Now you have seen the time we need all these vigilantes. This is the time, because if the states have already gone all those with the highest level of vigilantes, all this problem of porosity in the borders will not happen. Actually, all this one will not get gainful employment with medical personnel. You see, God normally gives us talent and everything now as a focus. But because of politics, our sentiments would kill up. This is what is happening. It's porosity of the borders is increasing the index cases. The earlier we stop it, the better for us. That's government, at least Cross River State Governor, where they should borrow a leaf from, they should ask him, how is he surviving with 50-something porous borders into Cross River. Have a pleasant and fruitful day in Lagos.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroa, for
No, but that's why every state government has to look indigenously, has to become ingenious and deal with the virus in the way it deems fit. You look at the time the president is easing lockdown in some states. The Kaduna State governor said for 30 more days, the Kaduna State is going to be on lockdown. So this is the point. Every state governor must look inwards and
Kano is on complete lockdown.
Non-negotiable.
That one is
non-negotiable. 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 Non-negotiable.
While they sort out what this special, what do they call it? Strange illness.
Even if the governor says that the deaths were caused by malaria, high blood pressure, and diabetes, is fine. But the lockdown has to be in place for a proper and thorough audit of what is going on. The reality is that from Cross River to Ondo, to Adamawa, to Taraba, and so on, to Rivers, to every governor must make sure that he takes charge of the situation in his own state and does what is best for his people.
Let me take Mr. Joshua in Irewale, Ogun State. Good morning, sir.
I'm on phone to the TV.
You are indeed.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Joshua in Irewale.
Hello, Uncle Yori.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
You're on air right now. Good morning to you, and good morning to Cyril.
Good morning, sir.
A quick one, Uncle Yori. I commend your efforts on all these, all the things you are doing to inform the public.
Thank you, sir.
There's still a portion of the population that are still saying this COVID-19 is not real. So there's still a lot that needs to be done. Those who are camping in the area of religion and all those places, there are still some people who are skeptical. I don't know. Some would say, I want somebody from my family to have it before I know it is true. So something should still be done across board to get people to know that this is real.
Indeed.
And please, could you please tell us what is happening with the banking sector? I think there should be some skeletal services going forward after this lockdown or whatever. Is the banking sector included among the sectors that will be lifted?
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. It's a crucial. What is more essential than ego?
No, but even the
what
bank...
is more essential?
No,
what is more essential?
I think we should clear this up.
When it comes to essential services.
I think we should clear this up. At the time the president made his first broadcast and, imposed the lockdown, the following day, the CBN, the finance minister, and some people actually secured the president's approval to make sure that skeletal services took place in the banking sector. It only follows the reasoning of logic that going forward from Monday, some measure, at least people can access their funds. That is a fact.
Yes.
And so, so some measure of...
people have always been able to access their funds through the ATMs anyhow.
ATM machines.
Thank God petrol is stable, very, very stable. No panic in that regard, but then there aren't as many vehicles on the road. And so even if you didn't have cash, you can always use your card. But going to the point that Mr. Joshua made about... it seems like a most improbable point at this point in time. But it's not just in Nigeria.
Which point is?
The point of some people not believing that COVID-19 is real. Yes, we might have that problem. Not that we might. We do have that problem. But you listen to, you watch videos coming from America, and there will always be a fringe.
No, what we have
Let me come back to you. Esther has come on the line since. Good morning, Esther.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you very much for coming in.
I'm calling from Majao Estate.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
All right, sir. Please, this is my worry. I'm one of the hotel owner. We've shut down from March. What I want to know is that it's like there's no anybody that comes to this area to check. And I'm scared because there's a lot of clubhouse, a lot of bread parlor, even in daytime. What I'm scared of is that I'm broke. I cannot even boast of 10,000 naira. But my life is important. But what I'm scared of is that when we open now, we don't know the kind of people that will come in. We don't know how to test them. We don't know maybe they are healthy. And the life of our staff is not safe. So now, please, I don't know this issue of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. What kind of people are we expecting? How
it's
am
actually
I going to know that this person has COVID-19 Because me, I'm scared. What I expect them to do is that now, if you people can send somebody from CIS, come to this area, you will see. You will see what I'm saying. I'm scared. Last week, somebody just fell down and they just rushed her. We don't know where they take them to. You will see girls naked in the evening, everything, and we are fighting this thing. Sir, if you don't, we don't even have idea what we are just started. Me, I'm scared.
So you don't have inspectors?
I'm not even scared of lockdown now. It's when we open that you will know that this thing is around. We should stop deceiving ourselves.
So
thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much. She was clear enough. The first concern, the first worry she has is that nobody has come to her kind of facility. She says she's a hotel owner, and she hasn't seen anybody come in the garb of a health inspector to see what's going on, how it is going on, and it's a genuine concern that when you open up, she's been closed from March, she says, so she shut down. She was very, very aware of the implications, so she just shut down. As as expensive as that must be to her, she just shut down. But the big question that we hope there are answers, and no doubt she's put it out there.
I believe they are watching.
They are watching. We shall look into that and see, because her concern is that now when you open up, we don't know what we're going to be. But there's a coffee. She said 9. It's actually 8 to 6, right? The coffee will be from 8 p.m. in the evening to 6 the following morning. So it's like there won't be any night business if there's a curfew.
There shouldn't be any night business.
Well, there shouldn't be, and this is where the authorities again come into play. Okay, that's our program today. We've got to leave it here, Cyril Agbaku. Thank you very much for joining us on behalf of Cyril and I. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.